This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
And there it is, that's as good as it gets on this stage. Nissan Townstar EV strikes again. It's an unstoppable van, unstoppable.
Just fantastic. You can actually see the Pro Pilot technology in action. Effortless parallel parking.
It moves with all the confidence that comes with a 5-year warranty.
And with a bench full of all-star van experts, there's real strength in depth here.
That's all-star quality.
Search Nissan Townstar EV and visit your local all-star van centre to see for yourself.
Terms and conditions apply. 5 years or 100,000 miles, whichever comes first.
ProPilot is an advanced driver assist technology. Driver's responsibility to stay alert, drive safely, and control vehicle at all times.
We're BetMGM Sports and Casino. We know things aren't always golden. That's why we offer you the tools to keep your place safe. Set timeouts to always ensure you take a break when you feel like you need it. Set reality checks so you know exactly how long you've been playing. And set deposit limits to help control what you spend. Stay golden with BetMGM. Play responsibly.
18 plus.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to the Tilton Talk Show, sponsored by AMG Logistics. I'm Paul Hipkiss, and tonight I'm joined by Mr. Road Mark Adams.
Good evening, everybody.
The one and only Claire Giblin.
Good evening.
Mr. Fixer Craig Courtney.
Good evening, everyone.
The Chairman Alan Watton.
Good evening, everyone.
The one and only Chris Browne.
Good evening.
And last but by no means least, it gives me a great pleasure to say again, I think it might be a hat-trick ball this time, David. Third time on the show.
I think it is.
So, yeah, welcome back, mate, to David Taylor.
Hi, everyone.
Who are you? So I want to open tonight's show by wishing Steve Bruce and his family all the very best and all our love after the sad passing of his grandson, Madison, the other day. Very sad news broke out, and I just wanted to start off with that at the very top of the show. One of the best managers in our history that we've ever had, and I've thoroughly enjoyed certainly the first 3 or 4 years in his reign, and just puts everything into perspective, doesn't it? When stuff like that happens, football just doesn't matter, rivalries don't matter, and all that. So yeah, just wanted to open the show with that. But yeah, let's get into the game on Saturday then. David, obviously you were there, mate. So give us your thoughts. We've got to stop conceding early goals, haven't we?
Yeah, I think he certainly should send everyone out. Well, certainly the back four 20 minutes before kick-off and not let them back in the changing room. It's such a soft goal to concede again, but I think probably 80% of the goals we've conceded, we've literally been, our own blunders or just being half asleep. But once we get a foothold in the game, the confidence is there. Even in the fans, I've never ever experienced it as a Blues fan, where you just feel that no matter what the score is in the match early on, you've got that confidence that they're gonna get there. With the exception of the Valley the other week, of course, where they just never got started, and I think we played too much into Charlton's hands. And to be fair, they were the first team we played where they didn't seem to sort of wilt at all. They just kept at it. But yeah, superb again on Saturday, and probably should have done. Got a couple of more goals, and the great thing is that even with some important players missing, especially Jay, you just don't notice it in the team.
No. Yeah,
and Williamson for me is sort of growing into a really effective player. He looks sort of head and shoulders, in the attacking sort of part above anything else we've seen in the league so far. So
yeah, I think definitely in the 10 is his best position, isn't it, Claire? Number 10 is his best position, and it was for me personally. I think Anderson got man of the match, didn't he, on
He did, and it was not nice for him to get a couple of goals because he works hard, he gets himself there. Hopefully that'll give him a boost, and it'd be great to have. I was going to say have 3 goal scorers in the team, but the goals have been coming from everywhere, haven't they? We've got them from midfield, from defence. The strikers have been contributing, so it's it's a rare experience.
No, we picked up 13 points this season from losing positions as well, Claire. That's pretty. That just shows you, doesn't it, the fighting spirit that this team has, this squad has.
Yeah, I just think that, as we said, I think some of the goals have just been ridiculous that we have conceded. It's a long throw, and we just haven't dealt with it. I mean, it was so early, I think 35 seconds, that half the Blues fans weren't even at their seats, if you say. But then, like Dave said, it's the first time that you kind of go, oh, we're losing, but we're going to win anyway. So it's not like cockiness, it's more overly confident, which is great, because I know that in my time supporting the Blues, I've never felt like if we went 1-0 down that we'd ever come back. And I mean, when you've got Anderson playing really well, I mean, Williamson was untouchable, Watton was just sensational again. It looks like no one's going to get past him. And what was nice as well is seeing some of the people come back from injuries as well, and like the changes that we make. Okay, they've come back for half an hour, but there was still no change in it. And even now you're thinking, are you going to still have the same team on Tuesday? Jay comes in, where's he going to go? Because I thought Alfie May was brilliant again. If he scores that goal is goal of the season, hands down. Yeah. So I just think that Williamson has to play as the 10. I think best position. And then I think I'd play Jay on the left. Have May at top, because I just think that would balance it a bit more. And I think Alfie May deserves it. How many goals has he got and assists this season already? He's flying. So, and I think Allsop with the penalty save again, we needed him, and he was cool, calm and collective. Okay, then they were really good. They were a good team. They were a really good team. Fair play to them. They came at us, and fair play for them selling out. It was a great atmosphere. It was a battling game, but we came out on top, and again, we're top of the league. We've scored more than we concede, and we're going to win games. So we're going on to tomorrow full of confidence again.
Yeah, just coming on from what you said there, Claire, about Jay on the left. And when we played Fulham at home in the Cup, and obviously that was his last appearance for Fulham, when their fans were telling us he'd never be ours. Look what happened there. But yeah, he played on the left in that game for Fulham and scored against us. And they had Raul Jimenez through the middle, didn't they? And there's no reason why we can't do the same.
I said after the Tilton game, we should play Dykes through the middle and play Jay and May either side, left and right.
No. Don't talk to me about Dykes. He did nothing again.
No, well, it gives you that option. I think he's quite mobile for a big bloke. He puts himself on the outside.
Yeah.
But, just to sum up the difference being this season, for most of my time following the Blues, I've actually been worried about the result when we've been 2-0 up. I think if we was 3-0 down, I'd still feel confident that we'd get something out of the game at the moment. That's the difference for me. So. Yeah,
it's an unusual territory for us, isn't it? We're just not used to this. And I think, to be honest, thinking about it and looking back now, and I said it at the time, it's probably for the best, wasn't it, that we did take a step back this season, just to regroup and change the mentality to winning more, Craig?
Yeah, I think the reset button, it was needed. I think we've all agreed to that now. And it is a completely different style, atmosphere. And actually, you go into games now thinking not what result are we going to get, but it's more of how many goals are we going to score? I mean, yes, silly mistake. But even as soon as that had gone in, you were thinking, doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because we will score more than you. And, that the whole day was superb. The flowing football, the possession numbers again, through the roof. Teams are kind of looking at us now thinking, it's not about how we can put up with them. It's about how we can cope for 90 minutes. The interesting thing for me is people are now looking at the stats and are now beginning to say, actually, Birmingham are better as they get into the latter part of the game, because they have ground a team down that much. that unless they've got some super options to come off the bench, they're going to struggle. And that happened Saturday. You know, they didn't have the options to come on. We'd worn them down. They were tired towards the end. We were able to be in complete control as you got through halfway through the second half. And going into tomorrow night, you know, the interesting thing for me is speaking to Bolton fans who I work with, and also through the away end speaking to the Bolton fans. They're just basically saying if we get into the second half and we are in control like we were the weekend, they're not going to stick a cat in Al's chance. And in fact, you know, they're beginning to fear how many goals we can score against them through a depleted Bolton side, shall I say, before we even start the game. You know, they are ravaged with injury and are playing a left back in centre half, you know, and a player that we will know from past, but Dakwa Cogley is playing at centre half at the moment. And what the guy said to me last night was basically, you stick somebody with a bit of height and a bit of pace in front of him, and you're going to score for fun because he's not going to stop you. So going into tomorrow, it's going to be an interesting game. But to go back on what Dave and Claire have both said, I don't think the fans know what to do at the moment. It's kind of scary because it's like you're thinking to yourself, what's going to come next? You know, what's around the corner? And yeah, that Alfie May strike, wow! And it wasn't just the strike; it was the setup behind it. You could tell that once he passed that ball on to Anderson and Anderson knocking it back, the only place it was going to go was towards goal. There was no, like it used to be, or better tippy-tappy across the box, try and set somebody else up. He just had an eye for goal. And we are, not that Chris Brown wants to hear this, but we are going to give a team a tanking at some point in time. It has to come this season. And I don't think it's far off, you know. And you're right, Dave. Let's get them warmed up 20 minutes before the game. Give them a football. Tell them to kick about in front of the goal. Tell them we've actually kicked off. And we might be all right for 90 minutes then. But to go back on something Daz Hale said as well after Saturday, he's saying the same thing. We haven't seen Birmingham play for 90 minutes yet. No. And when we do, it could be really, really scary. You know, okay, who you're up against, if they can come out with that kind of drive for 90 minutes, it's going to be a very, very, very fun game, should we say, for us as fans to watch.
Yeah, well, we haven't gelled yet, have we? Either, really. I mean, we're getting better every game, I think. Apart from we'll put Charlton to one side. That was a one-off, I think. And in every other game, really, we've had to grind out the results, haven't we? In a lot, but I think, like you say, when we do gel and we do perform from the first whistle to the last, we are going to give someone a right good idea, aren't we, Alan?
Yes, indeed. My answer, interesting answer to the poor start. My answer would be is for 10, 15 minutes, not play the passing football. Play, you know, make sure the ball is as far away from our goal as possible for the first 10 minutes or so. We might have blokes running after long balls, but just to clear that 10 minutes where we can settle down and then say, right, now we're going to play. I thought it was ironic. We remember a couple of years ago counting 350 long throw-ins we'd taken and scored twice. We conceded two in the last two games because we just didn't meet them. You know, somebody missed the header. It was pathetic. And, you know, considering we are a very good team, you know, it's not acceptable. And it needs something done about it. The other thing is I'd like to give a big shout out for the manager, and I'll tell you why. Listening to you tonight and the comments, so you know you get the negative. We go a goal down, and my phone was off. You know, bing, 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 bing. List complaints and whatever. But the hello, have I gone? The thing is, we've got a 17-man squad, and nobody yet, and I don't think it's going to happen, has played their face. You know, oh, I should be in. Now, could you imagine Dembele and Bakuna, just to mention two, what their reaction would to be in 1 week and not even on the bench the next. That that is the reason they've gone. And the 17 players we've got are all pulling for each other. I noticed Sanderson after the end of the game on the highlights never even got his bib off, but he was still there shaking his fist when the whistle went and joining in. And you're looking and you think, well, that never happened under any of our managers before, good, bad, or indifferent. You'd always got people who should have been in and shouldn't. But this got, stop worrying about who's going to play tomorrow. Just put your phone on it an hour before the kickoff, and the gaffer will tell you who's playing. And that's all you've got to know. Because I looked at the side and like you probably did. Why is so-and-so not in? Why so-and-so not in? What? Okay, it turns out some of them are injured and have got injured at the last minute. But I didn't sit there thinking, oh, my goodness, he's not playing. Oh, I just looked at it and I thought, well, that'll do. That'll do the job. And it'll be the same tomorrow night. You might be able to guess what he's going to do. You might not. But whatever he does, you look at it and think, yeah, that'll do. Because that's the sort of squad we've got. And it's the sort of attitude that the manager is generating. If you're sitting, if you could find tomorrow that Anderson doesn't play at all. He ain't even on the bench. Give him a rest. And we'll put somebody else in because of who he's playing against. Who knows what his thinking is. But all I'm saying is, whatever his thinking is, I'm right behind it because it seems to work.
Yeah.
Every time.
Well, it's been a long time, if ever, since we've had strength in depth like this, and I've never known us so fit either. Like, from the first minute to the last, we are fit, aren't we? We are, like Craig said, we're just running teams into the ground. And a lot of our winning goals in this season so far as well have come late in games, haven't they? Or a lot of our goals in general. But yeah, Robe, in your thoughts, mate? Have you known us this fit and have this sort of strength in depth before in your life?
No, like I say, it's like Dave said at the start, it's like a shift in mentality. So I'm 48 and I've never known it like this. I don't think any of us have.
Oh, the truth. 58.
I thought you look a lot older.
I'll ignore that comment. I know people at Harborne Bowls Club, Craig.
No. Is Jack one of them by any chance?
Anyway, moving on. No, seriously, it's been brilliant. It's a shift in mentality. The change in mentality from last season to this one. It's a proper championship winning mentality. I think it's dawned on the players that hang on a minute, we could win a league here and get a piece of silver at the end of the season.
Yeah.
But it's just superb. The options on the bench and the ideas that the manager has, it's not just a punt forward. He thinks about every situation. Every situation, you can tell he's put a lot of thought into it, and it's just superb to watch. It's absolutely brilliant. Like say, you would go a goal down now, you just shrug your shoulders. You think, well, that's all right. We'll just keep playing forward. We'll get a goal. And I shouldn't say this, but I can't see anyone stopping us this season.
No,
I think we're top two. I think we're top one material. I just cannot see us throwing it away. I hate talking. I don't like talking like that. It's weird, but I just think right. Will you be quiet, Craig? You're smirking me every opportunity tonight, and I'm not standing for it.
I think for me,
sit down then.
I think for me, Gary Cook at the Player Awards at the end of last season said, the comeback will be better than the setback and we will build a championship team in League One. And my God, have we done that? I think a lot of these players are ready for next season in the championship to finish above 10th. You know what I mean? I think a lot of them are that good, aren't they?
To be honest, Paul, I think like we said a minute ago about being on the knees and at the end of a game, I think pure winning mentality and adrenaline is getting them through. We're not picking up. We're not picking up injuries. We're not picking up niggling little injuries on the training ground.
Rogue. You know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Thinks it, Rogue. But
sorry, I'm getting carried away.
There is the other thing. We've just signed 3 players on extended contracts that arguably would have been players that have probably been looked at already or will have been in the January window. People would have been chasing those players, and we've just signed them to long-term contracts. They not only like us, but they believe in what's happening there. And there was a start of the season, there was a point made in regards to how many players we'd signed, and that actually Davies is restricted in how many players he can pick for his squad. And people are like, that's going to upset others. That's going to put put the apple cart out there. Actually, what's happened to me is it's invigorating the players even more.
It's galvanised them.
Another level to say, oh, sorry, Gaffer, but you cannot drop me. And Anderson is one of those players. You know, to think that I honestly thought when we saw him at the Players' Awards at the end of last season, I actually thought we wouldn't see him again. But he committed and said, no, I want to give this a go. I want to prove it. This is a guy that at the end of a window in January last year, we said, you can go out. You see ya. You know, thanks a lot. So people were actually believing that that was the end of his time at Birmingham. Now, not only has he got himself a contract, but he signs off a contract with 2 goals at the weekend. And he's looking phenomenal moving forwards. His movement, I think he's thriving on the fact that he's got midfielders that can pick the perfect pass, so that when he is making those little runs that he does and these little jinks across the wing, he's getting those opportunities to get the ball and have a go. You know, we're going to see the best of him, and there's more to come out of all of them. I just think at the moment,
just to close that on the manager side as well. Just watch him during a game. He kicks every single ball. Yeah, he doesn't stop. His energy levels through the game are just incredible.
Yeah,
he's there, and I love to see that in your coach, your manager. You know, actually having an impact on the match during the match. Yeah, you know, he's there with them, and that must be a great feeling as well for them.
Yeah. He was there again. Like he's had his cards. He's been up in the stand, but that hasn't stopped him. And on Saturday, he showed that again when there was an element of we're going to slow things down. We're going to time waste there, and he grabbed the ball outside of his little area and he threw it back in to tell him to get on with the game. And he, you know, next thing you know, you've got the referee coming over and having words with him. But that sums him up, and that also shows that he knows the club. Because I think that fires the players and it fires the fans up, and we absolutely love it. It's great. It's great to see, and it's I don't know. It's incredibly positive, and I'm the same as you, Rob. I kind of don't like it. It's just
I love it.
Do you think with the players though is the fact that obviously the last couple of seasons we've had players on like 1 or 2 year contracts, basically, like just being here to roll them down. Well, actually now the majority of the squad are on 3 and 4 year contracts, so they're kind of here for the long haul. I think that's made a massive difference as well, because, you know, when we had like the Hogans on big money, Etheridge on big money, and all these others that were just rolling down their contracts, not really caring. Now all of a sudden you've got younger, hungrier players now on 3 or 4 year contracts playing for something they know they're going to be here, which actually makes them feel better as well.
Yeah, you've also got players hugging each other as well that are competing for positions. I mean, I noticed Leonard and Pape like shook hands and hugged each other after the game, which, you know, he's obviously competing for his shirt, and the same for Iwata as well. You know, Leonard is a quality player at the moment who just can't get in the team. You know, and he's not the only one, is he? We've got some really good players outside of the first 11. You know.
Sorry, Paul. Can I, for those that saw all the game, I didn't realise watching the text on my phone, because that's rubbish, that Yokoyama had come up, and when I saw the goals, he was part of the third goal, wasn't he? He cut the ball back. Well, now I'm just saying that what I've said before, that how the squad works. There's a bloke that we haven't seen in the league for 5 or 6 games now, and yet he comes on and produces something, you know, and that's a surprise to me, that he can appear to have pushed somebody aside. You know, you're on the bench or you're not on the bench or whatever, and then suddenly throws him in, and the kid coming with the right attitude. And I'll go back to Dembele and Bakuna. Can you imagine what Bakuna would have been like in that situation if he hadn't played for 5 weeks? You think he'd been rushing around like a maniac? And no, but all these players, and that all the same, like you said, I can't wait for Leonard and Harris to get a game because I want to see, what their attitude's like. That I think ability-wise, they're not far behind the people, but they've got to prove it. And the next time they trot on that pitch, mate, they can't faff about. This is your chance, mate. And I think that's how he generates this continuity and togetherness by playing one against the other almost, but in a good way, not
it's only 5 months, Alan, since I was sitting there in Rotherham watching a player starting for us that hadn't played for 4 months. that would probably get in my all-time worst Blues 11 on the right.
Absolutely,
So,
and didn't we all say the same?
Yeah, and they say what a difference a year makes, but my God, in this scenario, what a difference 5 months makes.
Absolutely, yeah.
And just want to say,
sorry, Craig, are you talking on me?
No, you go on.
I think the thing is as well is they know they're going to get games because the amount of games we've got coming up, and I think it's we've got 3. We've literally got Saturday, Tuesday, and it's full on. And he will not be able to start the same 11 every week if we're doing Saturday, Tuesday, especially when we've got like tomorrow and then Saturday's 12:30 kick-off. And then we've got Fulham and then we've got another, game. So they know that their chance will come. And I think if they do play well, they'll be in as well because they'll just be waiting for someone to either get injured, there'll be suspensions. And it's nice to see a good group of players, really.
Yeah, I don't think Chris Davies will accept any passengers, will he, at all? If you don't want to get on the journey with him, then there's the door kind of thing. That's how he comes across to me in a way, in a good way. And that's why we've got this really good togetherness and team spirit, haven't we, Dave? What do you think, mate?
I just think he's, from someone that, you'd heard the name and obviously been around at some good clubs, but he's a big guy. He's passionate. He's involved. He's quite articulate when he talks. I can't see any flaws in him at the minute, which is great. He's if he continues in this vein, we've got a real future star as a manager, as a coach that could be with us for a long time, hopefully. And I think the thing with the players, you look back over the last 10 years 10 years, it's 13 years now since we've been relegated. The amount of players we've had that were there at the end of the career, robbing a living for the last contract, or there as a stepping stone onto something else, not really caring whether we went down or not because they just move on to the next club. This lot of part of it, there's a togetherness there that I can't remember. Probably the 2011 side in the cup, especially, that was there, where there was just this belief that they were going to do it, they were going to achieve something, and it's just fantastic. I think we've all said, and we joke about it, but we don't quite know how to react to it. The coaches are quite quiet coming back from the away games because you're sort of there admiring what you've seen, really, and in disbelief. But that will come, as it goes on. And I keep saying we're going to hit a rough patch. We're going to hit a spell where for 2 or 3 games, 3 or 4 games, we might struggle to pick results up because of injury, suspensions. But we're 10 games in now, and put the Charlton game aside, it's difficult to pick fault with them. There's sloppy goals that we give away, but I don't think in any game you felt it's gonna cause us a problem. No. The confidence has been there from quite early that actually I think think we'll be okay. And I go back to pre-season, the way we dealt with Albion and Rangers, you know, when there was no pressure on them, where they just played flowing football and they passed both those sides to death. You know, and that's what we've seen. I mean, if they get to that level during the season where they can play with that freedom and without the pressure on, then I think we will see a few good outings. I watched the playback came up on the memories of the Stoke at the 7-1, was it, or 7-0? Can't remember.
Oh, 7-0, yeah.
Yeah, and you think, well, I might see that again this season.
Yeah.
It's highly likely that we're going to do that to someone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're that good.
Yeah. Any comments, Chris, or questions coming in on the shout box?
Quite a few. Does anybody know about the ticket sales? What the ticket sales are like for tomorrow?
I can cover that off, actually. I can tell you that as of 11 o'clock this morning, the very last seat was sold in the Cop and Tilton because it was purchased for my dad. So I know that was the last one that was in there. There is now limited seats in the main stand, both upper and lower. Again, scattered and pretty limited in the Gilmerick lower, and the 2 blocks at the top in the middle have now been opened up. So that's where you tend to see more of the sales. So we're not going to be far off another, and God, I never thought I'd say this, another sellout tomorrow evening. I know Bolton have sold their allocation as well, so they're coming down in their numbers. But to just go back on this, we've just said an awful lot about the manager, but let's also not forget these backroom staff that he's got behind him as well, because Petty, as he is just phenomenal. He you can see that when Davis isn't up, he's up and he's having a go. And you know what? They're always in the ear of the players. You see it from the box area. They never, ever give them a quiet minute. They're on them all the time and they're shouting out. The thing is, the players aren't ignoring it. They're taking it on board, which is, again, a sign of the respect that they have. And, we might say with the goalkeeping side of it, fair to say we've had our worries about the goalkeeping side. But I tell you what now, I think we're in a position where we're going to have 2 players fighting and bringing the best out of each other. That's the best game in terms of a goal side of things and control of the box that I think I've seen from a goalkeeper again this season so far.
Yeah, I think no, Craig. I think he had a bit of oomph about him this week. I think the last couple of weeks he slowed it down. Well, I think this week he's actually moved the ball on quicker.
Yeah, definitely. And the other thing is the going back to the players and then knowing that at some point they're going to get a game. But what it's not doing is they're not relaxing on that. They're not sitting back on their laurels. They're having to fight and having to show during any sort of training session that they're keen and that they want to turn out. But that shows the ethos across the whole club, To go back to that sentiment I said the other week around terminology and what they use, no longer a substitute, a game changer. And actually, that's just one part of that mentality. The whole team at the moment, after 15 minutes, are becoming game changers. Let's have game changers from the first minute onwards.
I think, to be honest, Craig, sorry for jumping in. I think it's nice to have characters that everyone's taken. I know it sounds corny, but they're so lovable. Everyone's taken to them. And their mentality is like having 11 fans on the pitch. It's like having 11 supporters. They'll give their all for every ball. And it's been a couple of years since we've had that.
You sounded emotional when you said that then, bro. They're so lovable.
No, he's from Coventry. He can't possibly show emotion.
No.
Apart from when they say he's going to be let out.
Closest things to friends I've ever had.
We're not only a top club, are we, at the moment in League One, but we're also a double top club because I believe the women's team got 3 points again yesterday, 2-0 win at Southampton.
We are indeed, and again, mentioned it last week, but the double happened last week. With the 2 players winning the award and being top of the table, and after Sunday, we're in exactly the same position. The ladies going to their international break now, being top of the table, and a great 2-0 result down at Southampton. Controlled, performance yet again. And, you know, I had the privilege last week of actually meeting Amy Merricks and Hope Powell. I know Claire was having her girly moment as well, but they were all there. But they came to the Solihull OSC meeting, and we talk about what the men want to do, but the women have got exactly that same ethos. You know, Hope is incredibly passionate around the game as a whole. So her drive and her enthusiasm towards the playing of it and playing a nice game, but also having that realisation that we're in a league of 12 teams and only one gets promoted. You know, it is tough, very tough indeed. But they've started building for the future. So the players they're bringing in are players on longer contracts, playing decent salaries. You know, she made reference to 2 WSL players who could quite easily fit into a WSL team, but chose Birmingham because they knew what was going to happen. They could see what was coming around the corner. Amy was very open around how tough it will be, but also that we've got a team that are still also gelling. I don't think, like the men's, that we've seen the best ladies team out there yet. But that's going to come. And yeah, we're top of the table. We're going into the next game against Newcastle on the 3rd of November. You know, it'd be great. And I know I say it each time, but it would be great to get some of the faces down at St Andrews to support the ladies. It is a totally different atmosphere. It is a totally different game. I think Hope summed it up beautifully when she turned around and said there is almost a mentality at the men's game which cannot be replicated for the ladies. And there will be people that love it and there'll be people that hate it. But until you come and experience a game, you'll never know. And, you know, the encouragement I took away was that as a group, we had over 70 people at the meeting. And I've had people already contacting me going, when are we going? Are we going to do a game? Are we going to do an OSC game? Are we going to go and support the ladies? And the answer is yes. You know, we're trying to arrange things. We want to get people down there to support them and get the numbers up. But also, once you go once, I'll honestly say, I think you'll go again, because it's not, as people think, a game where people hold back. Right, the tackles are as crunching as you'll see in the men's. The passion and the drive that you see from the team is exactly the same. The high press is the key football. That's what they want to play. So again, it's like watching the men's. And it'd be awesome to one day say, we sell out St Andrews for a men's game, and the following week we're selling it out for the ladies. And we were discussing this to establish what would encourage people to come. And I'd love to hear from listeners that don't go to the game. What stops you? You know, let's feed this back into the club and see what we can do around sorting things out. And the 3rd of November, ironically, we've now got an FA Cup game for the men's at the same time, which there will be a small amount of away fans that will be travelling down. What I'd say is, you know, we have an opportunity here to get fans down to St Andrews to not only watch the game on the TV screens, but also then be part of supporting the ladies at the same time. So let's work to try and sort that out.
Hey, do we think it's
12:30 kickoff the men? So there's no reason at all. 2:00, get on the bus down to St Andrews. What's the problem? I would.
Yep. Craig, what I'm saying, do you think it's more tradition as to why people don't go down the ladies? Because, you know, traditionally, the vast majority of the people who go to the men's game will only go to a men's game. That's what they've been brought up.
The main reason I don't go is because I don't want to be single. You know what I mean? If I gave up all that time to watch the ladies' team as well, like, you know, as well as the men's home games, then I probably would be single. I'd probably be divorced because my wife just doesn't follow football at all. You say that's the problem.
And that's one thing that did come about. And I think you're right, Chris. You know, historically, have we seen Birmingham having, you know, large crowds going down to the ladies? No, but I take it back to again a point I raised when we was with Hope and Amy, and that's that it's not too long ago really that Birmingham were in the FA Cup final and we were taking 20,000 people down to Wembley. So I know it's a big event. I know it's a one-off and it's a cup final. But actually, these people were going to support the club as well as being at a final. There is no reason we couldn't get the same numbers of people at St Andrews. And £8 for an adult, £2 for a kid. It's not breaking the bank. But also, we'll try and work with the club to make arrangements to get people down there and to support. And we're not going to satisfy everybody. We're not going to please everybody. And I totally and utterly understand that. But even if it was 3 or 4 people coming each time, that's going with friends and family, that's 3 or 4 people that I think would turn around and say, we're coming again. And they expressed around the work they do with schools and in the community. And when I was there at the last game, there was a community group that turned up to collect their tickets, same time as when I was collecting mine. And they had 20 people that were all coming in to their first games. As they were leaving, those 20 were saying, when can we come again? And it's not all around a free ticket, but actually it's then about, okay, as a family, what can we arrange? And the kids want to go back.
What percent you say we're over the 50s mark, sort of our age? No offence, Claire, but
No.
over 50s.
I'm not that old yet.
Oh no,
Another month to go.
I mean, they are generally younger, aren't they? And a younger audience.
There is a definite younger audience that's involved with the games. Yes, there's no taking that away. However, I have started seeing more of the faces from the men's game then coming down to the ladies, and I think it's because we're in that position where actually, as a club, we're thriving at the moment. Yeah. And I don't want to jinx it, but at the end of the season, we could be sitting there with 2 teams being promoted, one into the top tier of ladies' game, which will, without doubt, when they get there, draw more people in. Because when you start seeing the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, Man City turning up with, coach loads of people that go and follow them, then their attendances are going to increase. We've also now, from the ladies, the club have started doing away travel, something it never experienced before. But they've run coaches now to Sheffield the other Friday. They ran a coach down to Southampton as well. And, yes, they're not exactly going to sell more than one. But again, that's at the moment. They could do in the future. So just want to continue this positive momentum that everybody is seeing around the game. And also thrive on this positive momentum at the club.
Yeah. The problem is, and Chris is alluding to it, we're Blues, and after a Saturday game, there's a fair amount of the Blues fans still haven't got home Sunday afternoon.
Exactly, yeah.
There's a fair amount still at His Majesty's, services, and it's you can't. I think it's going to be a generational thing.
I think so as well.
Yeah, it's got to be a generational thing. I'm part of the EDI work group with the Blues, and Emily's on there from her game too, and it's part of one of the work streams. And you keep coming back to that same thing. How do you sort of break into sort of mass following? I think certainly the promotion would help because of exposure. And it's a chance to have a go at them lot as well from B6 because obviously they're there. But I think it's going to be a generational shift. Yeah. But it is difficult. Just to throw another one, saying not many will go down to Sutton. Have you seen the ground? We've already got the lie of the land. There's a massive allotment all down the left hand side. So you've just got to walk through a couple of cabbage patches and climb a fence. There's a railway track, the back of the one stand. Then there's a slight mound at the other end, and then the front's all open as well. So there might be a few more go down. But of course, I'm only telling you guys. Don't let anyone else know. So.
I think, like, I know from my own point of view, like, I would love to go more, but I think because whenever it's away, like an away game, it then follows a home game for the ladies. Well, actually, if I had a home game and a home game, I'd more likely going to go, because if I've travelled for 6 hours on the Saturday, for example, I think, like Paul, I wouldn't be getting married next year if all of a sudden I'm off to, do you know what I mean? Well, actually, if I think that we need to try and do it more in tandem. I know when Arsenal was starting and Man City, they were doing it more in tandem, where it was either the ladies first or the ladies after at 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
and things like that. I just think that there needs to be some interlink. If you watch it, you will want to go again. Like, my little sister did not like football for ages. She ended up going. I mean, she likes Arsenal, so she goes there sometimes. But she'll come down to the Blues and she'll enjoy it.
That's a really
it's
they did that a few times at Twickenham when women's rugby was taking off.
Yep.
You had again either before or after, predominantly after. The men's team had played, the women would come out and play their game as well. So naturally, people, okay, half of the ground might empty, but you've still got a half full stadium, watching it, and then, right from drinking and taking their notice to start watching it, and then they get involved. So I think that's a really good suggestion, actually, playing a game.
We stayed for UB40. So if we're going to stay for UB40, we stayed a good hour after.
Yeah.
If there could be a quick turnaround, I don't know how we would do it. Obviously, they can have like the warm up and everything. I think more people would. And if you called it a double header, and I don't know, say if you then said, right, drinks are half price because you stayed, I can't see. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think there needs to be an incentive. But I think the more incentives you get, the better it will be. And I think if you've got sold out St Andrews for the men, and then they waited an hour after, I reckon you could at least get 10,000 to 15,000 of them waiting. And even if they stay for half, a lot of the kids
would want to stop, wouldn't they? A lot of the kids would want to stop because it's football.
Yeah.
I want to spend a few minutes talking about England now, if I may. And obviously, those of you that know me know, and our viewers as well, regular viewers, know that I'm a very patriotic Englishman. And what do we think of the appointment of Thomas Tuchel and a German leading us now? From that point of view, I'm outraged. But also, from a football point of view, I think it's a great appointment because he's a bloody good manager. So where are we all at with that?
When's the last time an Englishman won something?
1966.
I won the cards on Saturday.
That's the answer, isn't it? That's the answer. So sometimes, we've had foreign managers before. I understand because he's German, it might be slightly different, but
yeah.
When's an English manager won something apart from Chris Davis this season?
I mean, there's some fans out there that would rather win nothing with an Englishman than the foreign manager.
I think, to be honest,
we don't need them as fans, and I know people will think that that's terrible for me to say. However, you have to go with the times.
At BetMGM, we know how to put on a show. So we don't just do offers. We do golden offers like this.
MGM Millions, our supersized jackpot where right now you could win over £21 million.
Get ready for the golden era in online casino. BetMGM, it's showtime.
Minimum 10p game stake. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
And there it is, that's as good as it gets on this stage. Nissan Townstar EV strikes again. It's an unstoppable van, unstoppable.
Look, just fantastic. You can actually see the Pro Pilot technology in action. Effortless parallel parking.
It moves with all the confidence that comes with a 5-year warranty.
And with a bench full of all-star van experts, there's real strength in depth here.
That's all-star quality.
Search Nissan Townstar EV and visit your local all-star van centre to see for yourself.
Terms and conditions apply. 5 years or 100,000 miles, whichever comes first.
ProPilot is an advanced driver assist technology. Driver's responsibility to stay alert, drive safely, and control vehicle at all times.
Tuchel, for me, has given Firstly, he's coming in on a short contract.
Yeah.
Right. So the fact that they haven't given this 4 and 5 year contract, as they've looked to do in the past, for me is a good thing, because it gives them an opportunity. It gives him a window to do things and get us ultimately to the next tournament. You know, let's be honest. Are we going to win the next World Cup? I think no. You know, I don't think we've got a team that's gelling enough at this present moment to go out and do it. What I think will happen, though, is come January, he will stamp his authority on the team. He will bring an element of a new way of playing. And I think that he's going to start bringing the best out of some of the players that may be a bit lackadaisy at the moment. You know, we looked very poor without Harry Kane, but we didn't exactly look the best team in the world with him in there. He will bring to me a little bit more. I think he'll shuffle the pack a little bit, you know. We might get a new captain. Why not? You know, new manager, new captain. It happens when it goes to a club team, so why shouldn't it happen at an international level? Yeah. And he's got my backing, because at the end of the day, he's representing my country, and he's leading the team forwards, hopefully to World Cups and European competitions, and going from strength to strength. But for those people that are out there going, we're not going to support England, or we're not going to go and watch them because we've got a German in charge, go and don't come back. I'd say exactly the same to my club. If there was a person there they didn't like in charge, and they were like, we're not going because of this, I'd say go away and don't come back, because you're not a fan. You're there for one thing, and that's the patriotism side of it. Actually, you know, sometimes you've got to let that go by and stick by it. And I know it's an old school thing. I know everybody will be saying the same thing. Germany in charge of England, that's absolutely terrible. But some of the best football we've seen played in this country has come because of a German manager. And I look at Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool and the football that they've played, it has been phenomenal. And if Tuchel can bring in just a small amount of that to an England squad, happy days. My rant's over.
Dave, where are you at with it, mate?
I'm torn. I'm really and it's not particularly because of the German thing, because I think Alan said it earlier. It's better than a French bloke. If you look back over history, we've spent more time fighting the French than we ever had fighting the Germans. Yeah. But it's my preference would be if there was a good enough manager for it to be an English manager, because it should be, for me, the best of the country, which is management and players. But we're in a different world now. You know, look at the Premier League. Is there only something like 3 English managers anyway? And Claire's mentioned it. We don't tend to win too many things, probably because they don't get the opportunities or they're not getting the development. But you're not going to fix that now. So for me, I think he will bring a different approach. He will play the best team rather than try and wedge the supposed best players into a team. And he'll do it his way. I don't think he'll be told what to do. He's a strong character. He's a charismatic character. So let's see how he goes.
The women won something.
At the end of the day, we're watching England. It's our country. It's the players that pull the shirt on that mean more than whoever's coaching them or managing them.
Yeah, I think the vibes I'm getting on the shout box as well is that, you know, people aren't too fussed as long as the team, you know, is winning and doing well. And, you know, I mean, the only way you can bet a Gareth Southgate is by lifting a trophy, isn't it? You know, he's got us to 2 semi-final and quarter-final. So, you know, I think
it's a smart move to give him the 18 months. You know, it's long enough for him to have an impact on it, to see how we go next tournament. I'd be amazed if we did actually win it, but I think he's probably got better chance than most. And if he is successful, then, you know, if he likes it, we like him, he'll get longer.
Now I've got a quiz question now, which is kind of England and Blues related. So the first ever match at the new Wembley in 2007 saw England under-21s draw 3-3 against Brazil under-21s. And there was 3 ex-Blues players in that 11 for the England under-21s on that day. Can we name them?
What year was it?
2007, there was 3 players that went on to play for Blues at some point after that.
Redmond.
Yeah, I was going to say Redmond.
Under 21s.
Under 21. 2000.
Jerome.
No.
Matthew Upson.
No.
Scott Dan.
No.
Joe Hart.
Tom Richardson has got one. Well done, Tom Richardson. He said David Bentley. That's one.
Yeah.
Carrick.
Joe Hart.
Joe Hart was on the bench, Dave, so he wasn't in goal. But I'll give you a clue. The player that was in goal did go on to play for Blues.
Ben
Foster.
Nope. Nope.
Oh.
Jack Butland.
Nope.
No, too early for Jack, I think.
Yeah, too
Too late.
Go Art.
Oh no, too early. You're right. You're right. 2012.
Well done to Luke Acton as well on YouTube. Got David Bentley as well.
Bentley, yeah. 2007.
Yeah. Tom Richardson has got the goalkeeper now as well. Well done, Tom, if you're not Googling.
Wow, do you know, I never ever knew that, Lee Camp. That's quality.
Camp, yeah. Because he's changed allegiances, didn't he? He went to Northern Ireland.
Yeah. It's an absolute beast of a question, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So we got, how many we got? 2?
Got one more to get now.
Can you give us the answer and see if it matches mine?
Not Ricky Otto.
What position did he play?
He came to us on loan for a bit, and I'll give you a clue. He scored a worldie at Leeds. He probably only played about half a dozen games, a dozen tops for us when he was on.
Francis.
Not Leroy Lita.
Yes. Al.
Thank you.
Well
wow.
I remember the goal at Leeds. Yeah.
Wow.
Well.
Quality question, that is. When you think about them players, you know, then apart from Bentley, the other 2 names, you just think shows you the strength of the under 21s at one point, actually, when you think about those players that are there, and now how actually the vast majority of 21s gets into the full squad. You don't see it the other way around. You didn't see it then, did you at all?
No, not at all. But no. So yeah, Lee Camp, David Bentley, and Leroy Lita all started that game and went on to play for us.
Wow.
So there you go.
That's it. You see, you know, they reached their pinnacle when they signed for Blues.
Absolutely, definitely. And Chris, you got a shirt with no sponsor and manufacturer, I believe.
I certainly have, and I'm going to get it up now. Okay, so you ready? How long shall I give you on this one? Okay, I'll give you.
Well, something I haven't seen one of these yet.
Okay then. So here we go. Here is this week's no shirt. We need a name for this, don't we?
Yeah. Let's get shirty.
Let's get shirty. Here we go. That's a lot.
Ooh,
isn't that a good one?
I don't even know that kit.
Come on.
I can't even see it.
Okay, I'll do it
I
again.
don't even think I was alive when that kit was out. Was I?
I'm glad you're saying that, Mark, because I saw nothing.
We played in skins.
Mark's just wondering what it is that he can steal afterwards.
Chris, can you put it on the chat as well for this, just so everyone can see.
I'll have a guess. So is it Olympiacos? Just because I want to say Olympiacos again for me.
Blues top with no sponsor or
Black sleeves and yellow middle, like a penguin.
Say that. What is it?
The goalkeeper top, isn't it, Chris?
Yellow and black.
I'm giving you no clues whatsoever. I want to get this one.
Well, you've got to give us something. You've got to let me see.
Tom Richardson said, "Is it the goalkeeping kit from the 2006-2007 season?"
I'm not giving any clues.
We've got to tell people.
Game is.
Is it Lecoq Sportif? It looks like one of them.
No.
Is it?
I can't see it.
Is the manufacturer Lonsdale?
Yes.
Sponsor is the sponsor. Flyby.com.
Well done, that man.
And that was shirty.
And that, ladies and gentlemen,
Anybody in the general public see it?
Yeah. Everybody.
Yeah.
Nigel Mann's absolutely adamant that it's actually the Brew 11 sponsor, so please stop telling lies.
No, Definitely not Brew 11.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well, Luke Acton. Yeah, I saw Colin Doyle in that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he started against West Ham at home and we lost 1-0. And then he left. I think he let a couple of soft ones in at Chelsea as well, didn't he? And then lost his shirt back to Mike Taylor, took over, didn't he, then?
Yeah.
So,
was that the opening game, wasn't it?
Opening couple of games that season.
Yeah.
Chelsea had a bit
Capo
of a-
Yeah.
I still can't see it.
We finished that.
Oh, okay.
I'll shut up.
And Robe, when we click our fingers, you will wake up.
I kind of spoiled that, didn't I? I'll shut up in future.
Yeah, I suppose you should.
I'll give people a bit more time to get it that are watching.
I'll get my own back on the Who, though.
Yeah, I was going to say I'll do that. We'll do that on the Who. If anyone knows who it is, let's give our viewers and listeners a chance to answer.
Yeah. Let me know when you want. Do you want to do that now?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, then. Who is this?
I'm going to get in a taxi. I'm going to go. I can't cope. He said, "Don't, mate." He said, "You'll regret." Honestly.
Yeah, I know that is.
Oh, for God's sake!
I know that is straight away.
Yeah, I think I know.
I think I know the voice. Play it again.
Tell me, voice. It's a major.
I only spoke to him the other day.
Okay.
Dare I say West Country accent?
I'm not saying anything.
Can't see it.
What's a clue?
Tom Richardson, Steve Cottrell. Oh, we are. Jason Hughes has got it.
Yeah.
Jason Hughes. Right. There's certain people I'm going to ban in this competition.
He is the
one as
true
well.
gent and a legend of the club, actually, really, any Jerry Gill.
Oh, brilliant
Yeah.
bloke.
No, I haven't got another one, but I've got one next week that nobody, and I mean nobody, is going to get.
Okay. Yeah, no, it was good value. He's getting on for 12 months since I compared that Q&A last year, wasn't it, at the 2001 squad. And
Flying by, isn't it?
it was good value that night, wasn't he, Jerry? It was good, great, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Right, good night that was.
All I can say is for those that attended that night, what a difference the stadium is now. So that scene that night and what it is now is unreal. Jason Hughes has said, rather than let's get a shirty, can we not just call it Shirt on the Villa?
Good one.
Yeah, I like that.
Excellent.
I've got to say a swear word then, though, haven't we, on the show?
Yeah.
Shirt on B6 then. And we'll just stick with that one. That'll be fine.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
I think we should move on to David, Paul, regarding his charity.
Yes, Dave. Yes, mate. Over to you, mate. Tell us a bit about your charity and obviously where you're at with it at the moment.
Okay, so I'm only ever here when I'm trying to take something. So I've actually got three things to talk about today. One is just an update on young Alfie Ford, who we help out, and you guys, have helped me promote him and some of the things he's done. Young Alfie's actually won 2 awards in the past few months. He picked up the inspirational from the Inspirational Youth Awards 2024, the Young Fundraiser of the Year. He won that in the summer. He came runner-up last year. He was chuffed to bits with that. But then a few weeks ago, I got a message from him to say, you're free on 7th of October, I think it was. And he said, I've got another award. I can't tell you anything about it, but can you come along with me and that? So went along. It was in the Solihull Council halls, and it was their annual civic honours of 2024, and he won the Inspirational Young Person of 2024. So he's done absolutely superb, and to see how confident a young person he's become over the past couple of years, he's superb, and that's all from sort of doing his fundraising and the support he gets from everyone, especially the Blues family, and he's working on something for next year, which is different and would be quite incredible if he does pull it off. So he's growing from strength to strength.
Fantastic.
And then to a couple of charity things that we're involved with. One is a personal one. I've previously done my walks for the ABF, the Army Benevolent Fund. Done a number of walks for them. They're actually doing this year something they're calling My Frontline Walk. And what that is, it's doing 100 kilometres, but in the UK, at your own pace, around your own locality, trying to bring in sort of obviously war memorials, local, etc. Living where I do, obviously, I'm not far from Cannock Chase, which is rich with World War One cemeteries, and was an old training camp and a prisoner of war camp. Household itself is quite high on sort of remembrance. They've already done the centre of the village up with a theme for the 80th anniversary of D-Day, and obviously Birmingham's got a lot of history that I'll be sort of doing a particular walk on Remembrance Sunday around the city centre. But also on the 21st of November, November's a big month because obviously it's remembrance, but also for those of us that are old enough to remember, the 21st of November's 1974 is etched in our memory, and it's the 50th anniversary of the pub bombings in the city. So on the 21st, I'm going to do a special walk starting from the Blues ground. For those that don't know, there's actually a memorial plaque at the Blues ground now on the COP car park for the 21. So I'm going to start from there, walk to Edgbaston, lay reef at Edgbaston, walk back into town, go to the two previous locations of the pubs, and lay reef at both locations. Go to the tree memorial just outside New Street Station, lay reef there, and then walk back to St Andrews to finish off where I began, and lay reef at St Andrews as well. Just as a little mark of respect to try and raise awareness. There's quite a number of people who've said they're gonna do the walk with me. Some Blues fans. Glenn Randall's coming up from London, the Spurs fan who's done the walks previously for Justice for the 21, and Ian Williams is coming down from Preston also to join me. On the 21st as well, there'll be a memorial at the tree from 2:45 till 2:45 that is invite only. But if you go on the Justice for the 21 page, there is actually a link to Eventbrite. There are tickets available for if you wish to participate. But at 2 p.m. on the 21st, we're trying to get as many people as possible to just stop and pay the respects by holding a minute's silence. We've tried to do things nationally across the country, but that's proven difficult. So we're trying to just get as many people as possible to just stop at 2 and pay the respects. Then there'll be the usual remembrance service at St Philip's Cathedral at 5 p.m. on the 21st as well. So that's the walks. Doing the 100k for the ABF, doing the special walk as part of that for Justice for the 21 for the 50th anniversary. And hopefully that's going to be the catalyst for me to actually go and do my final walks next year over in France for the ABF. I'm going to try and get past fit enough to do the back-to-back again, do both 100Ks, because I feel like I've got finished business with the Normandy one in particular. Then the other thing and final point is through Central Blues Travel for the past number of years, we've done various fundraisers through the winter months, predominantly around sort of Christmas tie fundraising for children, either children in hospital, in homes, or children that otherwise wouldn't receive Christmas gifts. Last year was by far the biggest. I mean, it was just incredible what was achieved last year. This year is the 6th year of doing that, but we're also extending it into 3 work streams. We've got one which will be the Christmas tie collection again and fundraising. There's another one where we're looking to provide food parcels for the elderly, for pensioners, given the hike in fuel costs that they're going to suffer through the winter. We're trying to get food parcels put together for as many as possible. And then the 3rd stream is for the homeless, where we're trying to we looked at going out on the streets and doing the food and clothing, etc. That's quite difficult. I've done that for a number of years myself, and many other blues groups have done that. So what we've decided is we're doing hats, gloves and scarves, new if possible, to get as many as we can and get them distributed to the current groups that support the homeless throughout Birmingham. So I've started putting that out on social media. I'll push it even more. I've actually got a couple of these things that you'll see. So there's one for the, trying to get it where you can see it. That's one for Central Blues Travel, the walk. It's disappearing. I've got one for the fundraising and one for the walk. We'll get those arranged. As always, we'll publicise a number of drop-off points around the city. The one that can always be used is the Roost pub. The Roost has already got quite a few donations already made. We do within our travel club, the football cars, we've raised a few hundred, well, about £600 already in the first couple of weeks. And also at Lincoln, we have the collection buckets on the coach, which we'll do. But the biggest input to all of those is always the donations that people make. And to be perfectly honest, it's easier if people put themselves out to go and buy either the food, the hats and scarves, or the ties, because it saves us doing it. It's a big enough job distributing them. So, and there are a network of people that will do collections from various locations. So please, I'll send you the details for you to post on your page if you wouldn't mind, and just anyone and everyone just get hold of it and share the life out of it. Let's keep up the good work. Each year we get bigger with the fundraising that we do, and it's just a way for us Blue Noses to put something back into the city and look after the more needed than a number of us are. So thank you for your time.
Excellent. Cheers, Dave.
Brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant.
You're doing what you're doing, mate. It's fantastic.
Indeed.
Craig, hot off the press.
Yeah, so weirdly, as we were talking about tomorrow night's game and ticket availability, etc., the club have recently put out a bit of an update in regards to what's going on. So just for everybody's reference, the first thing that they're shouting out is they obviously are acutely aware of kids that it's a night game, can't attend the games. So latest update from the club is if you've got an adult ticket within the Arthurs area and your child is not able to attend the game, but you want to upgrade the child ticket to an adult ticket, then firstly, you won't be able to use that within the Arthurs area. However, if you contact the ticket office, they will upgrade that ticket for the child run to an adult or a concession, and then you will need to relocate to the Upper Gilmerrick. Stewards will be on hand to monitor all supporters entering Arthur's area, and if an adult is caught using a child's ticket, they will be denied entrance. So that's the first part of what they're announcing. Second part is owing to the demand of the seats. As I mentioned earlier, the Upper Gilmerrick will be open. The club is requesting that fans sitting in the Upper Gilmerrick, as with all games, are respectful of those supporters in the Lower Gilmerrick. Stewards again will be present, and any supporters that ignore the request will be removed from the stadium and will face disciplinary action. So they're really cracking down on behaviour sides. And then thirdly, supporters are advised to arrive early at the stadium. And that's because, as we've seen with other games, high attendance results in higher expected volumes of traffic in the area. It's a night game, so there's obviously a reduction as well in terms of the travel coming to and from the stadium, both buses and trains. So they're just advising people, if you can, to get to the stadium early and have a look at a bit of a difference in the pre-match entertainment. And ultimately, as they're saying, enjoy the game. Let's also not forget, B6 do play at home tomorrow. They are playing their European game. So not only are we expecting heightened traffic in our area, but that travel to and from the stadiums, no matter where you're going, is going to see increased volumes. So, hey, we're Birmingham City. We know what we're like. We know that we're passionate. We know that we are driving and improving as we go along. Let's not have any silliness because we don't need it. Let's not spoil what hopefully will be a fantastic night in and around Birmingham, and go back to here's to enjoy the game and 3 points against Bolton. So that's the latest from the club in terms of what's going on.
I can't remember us both ever playing on the same night.
I know we've had a League Cup. We had a League Cup game a couple of years ago, but that's like an early round of the League Cup. You know what I mean? Like, 7,000 or 8,000.
Apart from obviously when we played each other, I can't remember us playing the same night.
No, it's just unheard of, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
I must admit, a few times over the years, but never such a significant game. I mean, you got 2,000 plus Bolton fans, and you're gonna have 4,000 Italians, let alone the local Italians in the city. So
yeah.
Another thing I can't. Well, I'm sure it's never happened before. On Saturday, not one of the West Midlands 6 clubs were at home. Not one. Villa were away, Albion were away,
all away.
But they'll be travelling in. They'll be travelling in from far and wide, won't they? Worcester, Hereford,
Warwickshire,
Tamworth.
You haven't got to worry about any of them being so that's the last thing you need to worry about.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Also, I don't know if people saw the. Oh, sorry, Paul. I don't know if people saw the highlights of the football on Saturday, but at the end of the show, there was the snippet, and I just want to say huge congratulations to Sukh Singh and the group around Punjabi Blues, because 30 years involvement with the club, and what phenomenal stuff they actually do. And there was a great. A little piece at the end of the show on Saturday on ITV, just highlighting the work that's gone on, how things have been brought together. As with Dave, the amount of fundraising and support that goes on. This club truly is a family, and I think
And there it is, that's as good as it gets on this stage. Nissan Townstar EV strikes again. It's an unstoppable van, unstoppable.
Look, just fantastic. You can actually see the Pro Pilot technology in action. Effortless parallel parking.
It moves with all the confidence that comes with a 5-year warranty.
And with a bench full of all-star van experts, there's real strength in depth here.
That's all-star quality.
Search Nissan Townstar EV and visit your local all-star van centre to see for yourself.
Terms and conditions apply. 5 years or 100,000 miles, whichever comes first.
ProPilot is an advanced driver assist technology. Driver's responsibility to stay alert, drive safely, and control vehicle at all times.
It's time for the rest of this country to recognise that Birmingham City is not a club as it's been seen in the past, as a bunch of thugs and hooligans. It's actually a family club. And it's improving no end. And the stuff that's done in the community, Dave's examples there, what Sukh's done, the whole ethos is changing. And time for ITV have recognised it. It's now time for Sky, BBC, people do listen. Time to recognise this club for what fantastic work we actually do and how things are thriving. It's not all Premier League. It's not all Championship. It's about just that whole family side of things. So well done to Sukh and all of the team involved there. And also let's not forget one other thing: there is no room whatsoever in our club, in our space for racism. So please, as they did on Saturday, you hear it, you shout it out, make sure people are aware. Let's stop this idiocy that still occurs in some areas, and let's make sure it doesn't happen to us, because we're bigger and better than that.
100%.
Absolutely,
Yeah. Well, should we go around predictions now for tomorrow night and Saturday? So I'll start us off. I think we'll win tomorrow, and I think we'll win tomorrow 3-0. And on Saturday, I think we'll win at Mansfield 2-1. Claire?
I think it'll be tough tomorrow. I know they've got a few out, but I think we'll win 2-0. I think Mansfield will be a really good test. I'm saying 2-1, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got a draw. But I'm just hoping that we've just got that little bit too much.
Yeah. Ro?
I'm going to say I think we'll win tomorrow. I think it'll be quite tough tomorrow. It always is against Bolton for some reason. I'm going to go 1-0 tomorrow, and I think we're going to scrape it on Saturday, just about 2-1. So I'm going 1-0 and 2-1.
Dave,
I'm going to be big. A week tomorrow is my 60th.
Oh, is it?
And it's also Jimmy's 60th. So me and Jimmy were born on the same day, 60 years ago. Just let that sink into your brain.
Don't look a day over 21, Dave.
Thank you. I'll slip you the 20 quid on Saturday. And Saturday is our big. It's extra special party disco buzz on Saturday. So I think 2-0 tomorrow, and I'm going for, you know what? Let's actually give someone a tonking and 4-1 on Saturday.
Brilliant. That'd be good. Craig.
I think I equally agree that tomorrow night's going to be tough. They don't want to come and get that battering that their fans think is going to happen. So I'll go for a 2-0 tomorrow. And Mansfield, really is going to be a challenge. I'm hoping we can keep another clean sheet. I know it's really hard for Birmingham to do it, but let's go for a 3-0 on Saturday. So 2-0 tomorrow, 3-0 on Saturday.
2 clean sheets would be nice as well. Alan?
In spite of not seeing the Blues game, I've watched an awful lot of football this weekend in the Championship and Division 1. And it annoys me that looking at Championship, if we'd have stayed up, we'd have probably been the top of the Championship this year. But having said that, I've also looked very closely at our opposition and I'm going to go for 3-0 for both.
Right. Back-to-back 3-0. Very nice. Yeah, well, many happy returns for next Tuesday, Dave, and happy 60th. Hope you have a good party as well Saturday night after the game, and you and Jimmy.
Yeah, there's a stop off on the way back. So yeah.
So the stop off that's going to last all weekend, yeah, Dave?
No, well, I've not drank for 3 weeks, so it's it might be a very short evening for me. So.
As Jimmy would say, God bless him, wherever we go.
Yeah, wherever we go, we go.
Chris, your predictions, mate, tomorrow night, Saturday.
I'm going to go for a 3-0 tomorrow. And I agree, we are going to give somebody a tonking. I'm just hoping that when this 6-0 comes, it's when the weather's a bit warmer.
I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you what, Chris. It'd be ironic, wouldn't it? Dave's 60th and it's 6-0. Wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, that's a good point, that is.
Yeah, but I'm going to go for I think they'll score one. I'll go for a 3-1 Blues.
Okay. Are you going the Blues on your 60th, Dave? Because we've got Fulham, haven't we? Fulham under 21.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm being taken out, so I don't know where.
Okay.
So I'm
apparently
it's a family and friends thing on the Tuesday night. And then something on the Friday as well. So
very nice.
I said I'd rather be down at St Andrews. I said all my family and friends are at St Andrews. I said I don't think do anyone else exist. But apparently I've been told. So there we go.
And we have message board results. So we've got Dom Kavanagh saying 2-1 versus Bolton, 1-1 at Mansfield. Paul McCarthy's going for 4-0 tomorrow and 2-1 win on Saturday. Mark Hoadley is saying Blues to win 1-0 tomorrow, 2-0 on Saturday. Dave Twine, very good points actually. Let's not forget it's going to be equally tough and harder actually for Bolton because their manager has got to serve a 3-game ban and has to watch from the stands, so can have no involvement tomorrow.
Yeah.
Ray Cornish is saying 3-0 tomorrow, 2-0 on Saturday. Bill Mintz, does anyone remember away to Mansfield years ago? We were 5-0 down by half time. So, he's thanks to that, Bill. We might have to ban you now for being so negative. No. Dave Twine, 4-2 tomorrow, 2-0 on Saturday. Big Singer said he reckons we might just go a goal down. As that's when we're a better team. So, why not just do that? Chris Rowe, 4-0 to Blues tomorrow, 2-1 for Blues on Saturday. And finally, Nigel Manor said we're going to draw tomorrow and it's going to be a 2-0 win on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm talking to Bill Min. He did make a really good point earlier. I can't find the comment now, but he did say when we were talking about Chris Davies, etc. He just said that what a great job Gary Cook's doing, and he doesn't get much recognition. Doesn't get mentioned much, does he, Gary Cook? But in the background there, as our CEO, he's kind of like pulling the strings any day in, day out, and driving the ship, if you like, and doing a really good job of it, isn't he?
Yeah. He is, and we've obviously announced our next open house as well, which would be beginning of November, which is all about growth. And I think, as they announced, that will be very much being run by Gary Cook. And you know what? We go back to it, but we know that people listen from the club, so feedback continues to progress through from ourselves and from the other groups to go through. And Gary is really keen to make sure that some of the things are followed up on. I think there are times when perhaps as well we can do more as a club and more through those groups. So, more opportunities for things, podcasters, groups, Young Alfie, for example. It'd be great to see more of the work down at the club where he can support and be involved in it as well. So for those that are listening, continue to listen to us, get more involved, use the podcasters, use us all as routes to get to feedback from the fans, because it's all key.
They really do listen and act. And the previous lot wouldn't even, they wouldn't even respect you enough to sort of acknowledge some of the things. But twice in recent weeks, they've responded very quickly to requests that have come in to support a pitch-side walk at the last time game for a local guy who went and won went and gone the ring and won a championship. And just back end of last week, a request from one of the guys who's actually works in a hostel in Giblin, or a male hostel that's got quite a few lads that are Blues fans that haven't got the money to go to the ground. So they actually put a request in. Could we actually come along and have a walk around the ground just to see, because we can't afford to come to a match. The response to that was, before I got here tonight, I went and collected 24 tickets from the ground and delivered them to the hostel. So there's 24 lads that haven't been to a game that'll be at St Andrews tomorrow as part of the community thing, and that's just fantastic. The club, every club, there's a real good feel about the club at the moment, but there's still people that'll have a knock. And jump on the backs at any little negative thing. But for me, they're really trying to do the right thing. They're not going to get everything right, but they really do want to do the right thing. I'm critical of them as well. I don't always just praise them up. They have to listen to me when I don't quite like some of the things that they do. But the heart's in the right place. And you know what you've just said, the guy who's leading a lot of it is a blue nose like us.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've had a massive upgrade on our CEO as well. I mean, going from Dong to Gary Cook is like going from Oliver Burt to William Williamson, isn't it?
No, it's bigger than that. What are you on about? Can I just say as well, by the way, Saturday was the first time that the club have done the ticket check at the away game. And I think there was a lot of worry and concern leading up to that. I've seen that there are improvements still to be made as things continue to move forwards. But I think also there's a lot of positives that have come out of it in regards to some of the worries and concerns people had didn't come to fruition. So, again, they listen. So as Dave said, sometimes they make decisions that not everybody likes. And that was one of them. But you know what? It's been done now, and we move on. So onto the next game. Bill Minter said, please don't mention Burke.
Yeah, please don't.
No, we won't. Or I won't, sorry.
I liked him.
I managed to mention him earlier without saying his name, didn't I? But I couldn't help it that time, sorry.
Is he anywhere at the moment?
We don't know, we don't care.
He's on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
He was
he's just had a baby with Megan McKenna.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yes, good then.
Sorry, I'll say that again.
Yes, good then.
Yeah.
He was once the most expensive Scottish footballer.
Is that right? Wow.
He was, yeah. Very briefly, but when he was sold to wherever he went abroad, he was the most expensive Scottish footballer.
There's a contradiction in terms, isn't it? Scottish footballer. So.
He wasn't a Jim Baxter, I know that.
That has flown by, Chris.
It has, yeah. Just before we go, Scotty Hogan scored his first goal for MK Dons on Saturday.
On his debut.
He did, yeah, he did.
Oh, well done, Scott Hogan. A player that obviously divided opinions, but he did get his goals for us, didn't he? You know, and his goals kept us up for a few seasons.
He top scorer for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
We bought him when he was 30, and we sold him got rid of him when he was about 34.
Yeah.
You know, you can't. Well, you go past your best, and unfortunately, you know, if you buy that sort of person, you have to take the good with the bad, don't you? And we should have got rid of him earlier when people would have been interested in buying him. You know, knowing full well that he ain't going to keep that up forever. I mean, I remember that goal against Sheffield Wednesday, that volley. I mean, what?
Yeah.
Did we win 3-2 or lose 3-2? I can't remember now. But he scored some great goals. But then his legs went.
I haven't got a whistle. There we go. It's 8 o'clock.
Turkey time.
We've been the Tilton Talk Show. Good night to everyone. I've been Paul Hipkiss. It's good night from me, and it's good night from Craig Courtney.
It's good night from me, and it's good night from Claire Giblin.
It's a good night from me, and a good night from our special guest tonight, the one and only David Taylor.
Now you put the pressure on me to actually name someone after. So thank you again to all of the Tilton Talk Show team. Good night from me. Make sure if you see me and Jimmy on Saturday, you buy me a drink. He'll ignore Jimmy. And I'll pass you over to the robe himself, Mr. Adams.
Oh, cheers, Dave. Good night, everyone. This one I'll pass on to Alan. Alan, you're up. Good night.
Hello. Good night to everybody, and God bless you all. And over to the man himself, the man with the buttons, Chris Browne.
And it's a good night from me, and many thanks for all the really nice comments we've had on the show tonight. Good night.
Safe travels to a certain Mark Meredith as well, travelling back to Dallas this evening as well.
Have a safe trip, Mark.
Mark Adams, just because Dave passed over to you doesn't mean he's your friend. All right, don't even think about it.
No, small wins.
He's so lovable. He's so lovable.
I still can't see the shirt.
I weren't bad, that weren't, Chris. I reckon you should do that again.
Can only do blues, actually.
Mark, just so you're aware, that's a harmonica, okay? He's not really doing that with a comb. It's definitely a harmonica. And
I recognise the tune. I recognise the tune, actually.
They're back at the race, Mark. There's a guy standing behind you.
Bloody hell. I think my luck's out.
They're a blackout blind.
Dave, I'll buy you a drink on Saturday.
Perfect, thank you.
At BetMGM, we know how to put on a show. So we don't just do offers, we do golden offers like this.
MGM Millions, our supersized jackpot where right now you could win over £21 million.
Get ready for the golden era in online casino. BetMGM, it's showtime.
Minimum 10p game stake. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
And there it it is. That's as good as it gets on this stage. Nissan Townstar EV strikes again. It's an unstoppable van. Unstoppable!
Just fantastic. You can actually see the Pro Pilot technology in action. Effortless parallel parking.
It moves with all the confidence that comes with a 5-year warranty.
And with a bench full of all-star van experts, there's real strength in depth here.
That's all-star quality.
Search Nissan Townstar EV and visit your local all-star van centre to see for yourself.
Terms and conditions apply. 5 years or 100,000 miles, whichever comes first.
Pro Pilot is an advanced driver assist technology. Driver's responsibility to stay alert, drive safely, and control vehicle at all times.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.